Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, people. Good evening. This is Spirit Journey, another wonderful, wonderful Tuesday night. Another beautiful, beautiful Tuesday night. How you all doing? I hope you're all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Not too bushy. Yes, I love looking at the Manhattan skyline. It's very beautiful to look at. It's very relaxing. And yes, it's April 18th. I put down 19th by accident. Yes, today is April 18th, 2023. And the time is about 11:07. Yeah, my clock is a little slow, but it's about 11:07. And how you all doing? Yes, I want to talk about some interesting subjects. I'm going to say up front that some of the things I'm going to talk about may be offensive to others. And some people may think I'm insensitive. I, I, I don't consider myself insensitive. In fact, I'm actually very sensitive these days. I get anxiety um, all the time. And I feel that I care about other people's feelings on a personal level when I'm engaging with other individuals. But I'm going to say up front that some of the things I'm going to talk about that I wrote down in the description of this live stream, the three topics I'm going to talk about. And it's very, very troubling, certain things. And I feel this, the signs of the times is just going downward. But I say up front, in the beginning of this live stream, that I wish you all, um, yes, we're going to come out ahead. We're going to come out a winner in all this. And I think these are the things that are happening now that you hear on social media, on well, so in your everyday walk. I think everyone is being affected. Everyone affects everybody else. It's like a ping pong. What do you call it? What do you call it? Not ping pong. Those. Oh, I forget what you call it. But you pull a lever and the little ball goes bing, 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 bing. everything everything that it hits, it affects. And and I think that's what life is really about. Everything affects everything else, and no one is a vacuum. No one is a vacuum at all. No one. And yeah, let me know if you can hear the audio. Looks like some people dropped out. I don't know what's going on. Yes, I hope the audio is okay. Yeah, I'm using the headphones with a built-in mic in it, and so I hope that it's recording. That the audio is on. But yeah, it's going to be a little controversial, a little might sound insensitive. Maybe it's just my means of coping with information that I find problematic. Three basic things I'm going to talk about. I want to talk about sometimes you watch programs on YouTube. You may have favorite YouTubers that you like, and I will not mention any names. We all have free will about who we want to watch on YouTube or any other social media thing. And um, if you really don't want to watch a particular program, you should have the freedom not to watch. Um, but I am going to talk about something, and I think it's more of wondering whether certain YouTubers are really um, working for other people. They're not like just a random YouTuber, just a regular person, but maybe someone who might be working on behalf of somebody else, you know. Um, but some things that were shared, I'm just a little confused. And I also want to talk about the two new news events that happened in the U.S. One of a young woman, like could be in the 20s or 30s, an adult, who was at a gas station, and there was a problem and a car accident. And the other one is about the 15 or 16-year-old boy um, who allegedly um, the, the the boy went to a wrong address and rang the bell at nighttime and alleged that the homeowner shot the boy twice. The boy is recuperating in the hospital. I want to talk about that. And that particular one, you may not like what I have to say, um, but I'm being upfront. So the first controversial topic of the three subjects I'm going to talk about is YouTube content. Again, I won't mention any names. I'm not here to. I don't want to put down anyone in public. I don't want that. I'm not about that. Um, but it's just something that I'm just concerned about when, like, someone. I mean, I watch a particular YouTuber more for this particular YouTuber for entertainment purposes. I don't agree with everything that she talks about or her behavior, but I watch. Sometimes she's very energetic. Um, we're from similar locations, and our um, ancestral background is similar. So I watch her for that. I mean, very few people I know from the place where a particular family member of mine is from. And so when I learned of her background, about maybe 7, 8 years ago, I thought it was really interesting. Um, so that's primarily why I watch her. Again, I don't really agree with everything. Um, in my opinion, she is very, very, very new agey. Um, she just a subject like they talk about Mother Earth and astrology. I think she's all into crystals or stones, things like that, and meditation. So again, nothing wrong with these things. And in fact, I do those things. I do the outwardly thing, but I don't belong to any organizations or, um, I mean, some things, I might do privately, you know, in my home. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. How do you really define? I guess it's the label, New Age. For me, before, I mean, I used to be a Christian, but I denounced it for my life. Um, and I was searching for, because I was looking. I'm interested in learning about, I believe that there is a force or, something beyond this world, beyond this reality. And so I guess by default, because I do live in a big city, and they do have a lot of influence here in New York City, New Agers. Um, and so my exposure about what's considered spiritual without being religious was actually, in my opinion, things that are considered New Age. And so, reaching out for something, I did incorporate, because I was curious. I bought a crystal, what do you call it? Yeah, I guess you call it crystal. It was a sphere. I forget the name of the crystal. Um, they used it for like, it's like whitish color, and parts of it you can see through, and they use it for cleansing, to cleanse oneself. I mean, I don't mean like in a water bath, like you're going to take a shower or something like that. I don't mean it like that, but energetically cleans you. And that was my first piece. And I bought many, many different types of pieces. And I like the beauty of it. And I like the fact that something of nature is my home. And for me, spirituality is to have your home kind of represent nature outside. Um, but either way, I'm kind of getting off the track. But so this particular YouTuber that I watch, um, they they do mention about, well, the person talks about prepping and warnings, and a lot of inconsistencies, like they might talk about prep, to be a prepper and to do, certain things you should have, but they seem very secretive about how they manage. Like if you like, they would talk about foods, what type of foods to eat, how to, you know, but they fail to show what they eat. In fact, someone just asked them, well, what type of food you eat? Because they were mentioning about the warnings of, everything is has this or that in it. So someone asked the question, well, what food do you eat? And the person actually started crying on in a live stream, during a live stream. And they never gave the answer, but the implications of what, she eventually uh, replied suggests that she possibly just eats everything. And again, it's her business what she eats. But it's just little things, the inconsistencies. And so actually, I think it was 2 days ago, I said to myself after watching one of the, this particular person's live stream, I said, you know something? There's too many inconsistencies in what she talks about. Maybe I shouldn't listen. So I said, okay, the next time um, I open up my device to, look at YouTube videos, and if one of her videos are recommended, press the button to not recommend it anymore. So I was just so happy to be on my computer, and a live stream notification came on. So my curiosity got the best of me, and I did turn it on and watched it. And that's when I got another something problematic. So I was watching it, and then I'm a little hesitant, but um, now she's talked about many times about, again, I mean, I'm hedging right now, but um, it is one one's business. It's your business who you like and what you do in the privacy of your own home, who you love, how you love, with an adult, consenting adult, in the privacy of your own home. That is your business. And I don't want to know what people do behind closed doors. It's none of my business. And that's how I live my life. So, but she had mentioned in the past about like certain activities of the alphabet soup community, as I call it, um, certain as it pertains to the male, was, in my words, unsavory. But in yesterday, it was a live stream just yesterday, and she she mentions about um, a particular life, particular activities, but between two consenting women, and was promoting that type of activity. At first, I thought I misunderstood because the person in the past was very clear about um, what some men do between each other. So I thought that was addressing for everybody of the alphabet soup community. But in this live stream, she, it was an opposite response. It was something that was encouraging and encouraging that behavior. Again, what people do and who they love is their own business. But I was surprised. So um, I'm getting confused with why she would. I'm wondering what her whole channel is about. See, I know maybe I'm making more out of it, but I'm just thinking what's going on because I've been watching this person on and off for many, many years. And I guess what I'm getting at is what is true. I mean, I've listened to YouTubers who give a whole video about one particular incident, and then they do another video a couple months down the road, and they contradict themselves. Like they forgot about that they did a video about X, Y, and Z. I said, wait a minute. You gave a real traumatic video about X, Y, and Z, and then you say the complete opposite. And other people were mentioning the same. I thought it was just me. And I'm just being hypersensitive or whatever, or whatever. And then other people respond. In fact, they have on that other person's video, other videos regarding this other particular woman. They had someone actually travel overseas and follow that YouTuber to expose her. I can't believe. I couldn't believe when I saw this. Because see, when you lie and you lie enough, often enough, you're going to get people angry. So stop lying because it's going to catch up to you. I mean, it was an outright lie what this other person some years back said. And when people accept you, like that other YouTuber from some years back, that had was lying about things. She came across very genuine at first. She was a very, very young person, very, very, very young person, a young adult, and I was very happy for her. She did travel blogs, And I was amazed at someone as young and member of a particular race uh, doing that. It was new to me that the travel blogs, that it was a new genre for me to watch on YouTube, and I was just ecstatic. And then so I started watching her videos, and then I caught her in a big lie. And so I said, maybe I shouldn't watch this anymore. And then one time I said, when is that so and so still on? My curiosity got the better of me. So I Googled the name, typed in the name on YouTube. And then I found a lot of people, recommendations, because I used the person's name, controversy about her. And everyone was saying the same thing. And to the point that they even traveled overseas and exposed her of what she's actually doing. Yeah, people get angry after a while. So I guess why I'm mentioning that story is because the video I watched yesterday of the YouTuber that has a similar um ethnic background as myself, and she's uh, is from New York, like myself. So I was just attracted to that, and but inconsistencies. Um, now, if like she'll often talk about relationships and her man, a very pro heterosexual interest. So I don't know someone who is heterosexual who would then want to promote. I should maybe the word promote isn't the right word. And again, if you know, to each his own. But if you're a heterosexual, then why would you want to? Um, I don't know. Why would you encourage that on your platform? So I'm confused. I guess my confusion is she really um, heterosexual? I mean, she does have children, yes, young children, but you never really see men around. You don't see anybody. You never see really anybody else. And I'm just wondering what is really true. Or okay, you're a prepper, then how come you don't show things of that you're prepping? Or what you prep, or like maybe you make your own food. You do, what do you call it, like you have jars that you make preserves and things like that. Um, or if you grow your food, because you were saying about growing your own food. I mean, nothing wrong with suggesting that, but what are you doing? They're now going to. I know I sound like I'm venting. I know it does sound like it. But it's my sixth sense. Something is telling me. That's why I'm doing this video. My sixth sense is saying there's something that's not right. And you could pick up the minute um, inconsistencies. Some things just don't, oil and vinegar don't really mix well. And that's when I pick it up. And when she mentioned about, a particular lifestyle after doing a very, very forceful video about men doing things to themselves. But then you're going to say it's okay for the women to do things between each other. And that's what got confusing to me. And I started to, again, you never see any men with her, but she's always in the past, always talking about men and having a healthy relationship with men, blah, blah, blah. So now it's like, so what is it? I don't know anyone who want to promote that lifestyle if you're heterosexual. I don't know. And again, it is your business. What you do, who you like, who you don't like, whatever. But it's little things like that that's inconsistent to me and wondering what the real agenda or what she's really about. I'm not seeing authenticity or legitimacy in what she's professing and what she's showing. Um, and I guess I don't want to feel that way because I do enjoy at times, not all the time, but I mean, if I have enough of her, then I just switch the channel. And if I feel like watching it later on, I'll just put it on later. I don't, some things I'm concerned about agenda. That's what I'm getting at. And I kind of felt funny about that before, but I thought it was my imagination. Like I did watch before um, their we call it their Zoom, and you have to pay to see it. And I went to, I paid the fee. I think I might have been a member for 2 months. I think about 2 months, no more than that. And the second time I went into the Zoom, we call it the Zoom chat, whatever, um, I, I didn't pay to see other people. I thought it was going to be her speaking, like the things that she cannot share on YouTube, she'll share it on her Zoom that you pay to listen to. And that wasn't the case. And there's a whole bunch of other women talk about, I didn't want to hear about those other people. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear them. I don't know them. Uh, and I'm not paying to hear other people. I'm paying to hear her share information because, again, she's supposed to be into prepping and all this other stuff. So I thought, hey, there'd be an opportunity to find out, because back then when I was a member of her, uh, pay to view, I thought she was going to discuss about how to relocate because she had relocated. She moved out the country. And then she comes back to the U.S. And it she just jump around different locations. And I wonder, why is this? You have very young children. What about school? Every few months you're going to move to another country with little kids? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand that. And she has pets too, large pets. That's a lot of money. I mean, I tried to move last year. I told you all about that. It's harder for just me and my little pets. But she has several children and then two large pets. I was like, wow, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you afford this? Who's really sponsoring her? I just don't know. I don't know. I'm just getting a sixth sense something, and I don't want to feel this way. But after hearing the report, her report the other day, I said, "This is a red flag for me." And oh yeah, I remember with the Zoom when I got on the Zoom chat. Um, some of the people that were talking, and I said, wait a minute. This person is of this background, but yet you're getting someone from another group be like the teacher. I don't know. Why I don't understand this. Wait a minute. It just didn't make sense to me. I said, wait a minute, what is she really about? Who's really controlling the show? Someone um, with her background, why would you have this other person do, certain prayers and things like that? It just didn't sit right with me. It wasn't an expectancy. I thought she would be one way in her private, in the Zoom, the Zoom chats. And then some of the other people, I started feeling, hey, is this a legitimate group? It's mostly women. I would say maybe 99% all women. And I'm wondering, hey, is this really a cover for the alphabet soup people? And it's not really, I mean, like presented like a so-called new age type of feel, but she says she's not into new age, but everything. I mean, heavily. She's more than I am. And I'm wondering whether it's using as a front, using New Age, Mother Earth thing talk, but it's a cover for the alphabet soup community. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, you could be who you want to be, but be upfront. That's all I'm saying. You could be anything if the information is good, if something I could get out of it that I'm willing to pay for, then no problem. But I'm sensing something that the people of this group is not what you know, my sixth sense is saying that it's a cover. And I don't want to be a part of something, I don't want to take that spirit in my home. Again, it's just a choice. And I think everybody has their choice what they want to watch. But I think some things could be used to indoctrinate young girls. Now, if this is something up front, and if someone just wants to learn what other people think, so that they to educate themselves what to look out for or whatever, then no problem. But I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed, and it's like, man, who to trust? And why even go through all this hiding? I don't know. I don't like people who hide it. See, I could respect a skunk that smells because that's what you expect out of a skunk, right? But something that is disguised to look and smell like roses, but when you get too close, you start to have this weird smell. And that's what's happening with this particular YouTuber. Um, yeah, I feel that, boy, I don't want to feel this way. But I don't want I don't want to be a part of certain communities, especially if it's stealth. That's just my preference. That's my, I mean, if you want to listen to things like that, be my guest. That is your freedom, and that's all what it's about, freedom. Freedom to choose or not choose. But I think people should be authentic and honest about what their intentions are, who they really represent. If you are an alphabet super, or I call them also the soupies, Be upfront about it. And I have no problem with that. If someone's upfront about, no problem. I'll stay in my lane, and respect boundaries. And that's it. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Okay. Oh, that's my little dog in the background. Sorry. Yeah, my little dog is snoring, but it's all good. Yeah, okay. Now, the second topic, I want to talk about the lady. Yeah, I'll leave about the 15-year-old last. I saw a video today of a woman, a young woman, um, Chicago. That's in the United States, Chicago, Illinois, in the USA. For those of you who are from listening to, from another country, um, concerned about, wow, I'm wondering whether any types of injections might have influenced this type of behavior. A woman is in an SUV. She has it. There was a man a man with her, an adult. Yeah, a man with her. There was some type of verbal discord with other people at the gas station. Verbal altercation, and there are many videos on this particular incident, and I watched several of them. So at some point, uh, one group of people, a man and woman from one car, they had children in it, and allegedly the people in question in a second car almost hit the car that had the children in it, and that's why they were yelling at the other car. The people with the children were yelling at the driver of the car that almost hit the kids, which was a big car, an SUV car that almost hit the car with the kids. And then at some point, the car actually does a complete circle around the gas station. I think it was to exit, it had to follow the path to exit. And so it had to go in a circular motion and, did like a 180-degree, circle. And it stopped right by um, the people in question, the people that were yelling. And the lady in the I guess the mother of the children is right near the car and yelling and just angry and so, still arguing and saying something to the effect, I dare you to do, things like that. And so that's what the woman does. She backs up the car, and the man that was with her was now outside the car, and they said trying to get the keys out of the lady's hand because she's going to run over, evidently, the other lady. So the lady driver backs up the car, the SUV, and the guy, the door is open because the guy is standing on the driver's side of the car, trying to get something. They said he was trying to remove the key from the car, but evidently she, I guess, grabbed the key back and she hits on the gas. Um, her partner almost head almost got run over. He's being dragged in the car, and the car runs into one or two cars at the gas station, almost hitting other people, and then it sped off and gets in a serious car accident. The car, about maybe 100 yards, hits another car and turns over on its back, the car. And the woman runs out. I mean, the woman climbs out the car and is laughing sarcastically because the woman who has the children is still yelling at her. And the other woman, Defiance, is laughing back. The woman tried to leave the scene of the accident, and they were caught by the cops about a block away. And they showed her mugshot. And I'm wondering, what in the world, why? I, I've, I question about this behavior. The person had this weird ass weave, with weaves that fake hair, it bunches up, and that's what it looked like in the mugshot. Very, very odd. Very, I mean, why why are we acting this way? I'm wondering, um, is the things that we are taking in our bodies over the past 3 years, could this be contributing to the bizarre behavior? What is causing this lunacy? Yeah, it's like you're not safe. It's like you're not safe. I feel that both parties were just out of control in their behavior. Sure, no one wants, you don't, be careful driving. Anyone would be angry that if you felt someone almost hit your car, you have children in the car. Um, there's a way to handle. I question, is that the way how you, if you're an adult, is that the way you handle? I mean, especially after the car gets in a serious accident and turns over and it's on its back, and you gotta still, come on, you gotta act very gamey. Both people, both parties. It's embarrassing. Uh, you have children are watching your behavior. Children are watching. Your children, while you're teaching your kids to act like a fool out in public. And this leads me to the last conversation, last topic. This is about, it's a 16-year-old boy. I don't remember what state it was in, but um, a, a, the boy was asked to pick up two of his siblings, younger siblings. He's given an address. Now, I don't know definitively whether the address was written down for him or told verbally, but he went to the wrong address. Like the last one was, let's say, Terrace, when he went to street and said, so I'm going to make up an address, 222 Terrace Street. When it, it I'm sorry, getting myself confused. Like, let's say the person went to Terrace Street, but it was supposed to have been street rather than terrace, something like that. So they got the suffix wrong in the address. Okay, that I'm just using for an example. That's a fictitious address. I'm just using that for an example. Um, this allegedly happened at roughly between 10 and 10:30 p.m. This is a minor that was told to go get even younger children from a residence. You're going to send someone who's never been to that place, and they don't know, most likely don't know him. If he doesn't know the house, then most likely they've never seen him before. Who this person was that he was to you know to see, that they did that I don't know. It's a lot about the case I do not know. So what allegedly happened was that when he arrived at the house at nighttime, he rang the bell, and the person of the house, an elderly white man, and the child, the 16-year-old, is a black child. And the man didn't want to answer the door and told him to leave, and then shot him twice, one in the face or in the eye, and the other hit him in the arm. And the boy allegedly goes to two other doors to seek for help. And the last door said, "Well, have your hands up and lie on the ground," like he's some criminal, and I won't get help for you unless you do this for me. And it sounds ridiculous. To me, it sounds ridiculous. But that's just what was told. That's what uh, a video I saw said. Again, I don't know whether that's true or not. But I'm just going by what I heard in the videos. Um, Again, it is unfortunate, and I really hope for the young boys' speedy recovery. It is a nightmare for anyone to go through that. So I hope he recovers. Um, but I have concerns about the story, and that's the controversy with what I want to talk about. Again, I'm not a parent, but I do have little dogs, and I want their safety. And I'm really protective over my little dogs. But I imagine if I had a human child, I'll be even more careful, I mean, more protective, I'm presuming. Um, I'm just really basing on my experiences. Like when I was 16 years old, I wasn't allowed outside at night at 16. I was not allowed out. I better be home. And I really had no business being out at 10:30 at night, because I would have to be going to bed, or you know, uh, it was very strict. The household I lived in as a child was very strict. I did have a two-parent household. Um, I don't know about the boy that was shot. I only heard something about an aunt, and I think a mom that said you don't hear any. I did not hear anything about any fathers. Um, My concern is why why would an adult ask a child, a minor, to do what I would think an adult job? You don't do that. You don't send a child to do a woman's job. If you're a child, you do child things at home. Why would an adult require a child, and he's a small child, to a place he's never been to? Oh, but I can't say that. Um, but at least he went to the wrong house. So it just to me seemed to me, he may not recognize the house, the correct house. Why at that time, at 10 o'clock, if it's 10:30, I would say, hey, that's late, and these are little kids, have them sleep over there. Just make a phone call, hey, I see it's 10 or 10:30, um, have them stay there, we're picking them up in the daytime, something like that. Or have the kids have the kids go home by themselves or whatever. If depends on how old they are and how far it is from their house. I don't understand. I fail to understand why would a parent send a child to an address and it was now I don't know why it was incorrect. Was the boy given the wrong address? Was it written down, or what? How did he have the address? How did that mistake happen? I'm tired of hearing parents or guardians asking children to do things that they should be doing themselves, like certain groceries. Oh, I need some eggs. Or I need such and such. I'm making something. Oh, go run to the store and get it to me. You know how many times kids who are sent to do errands for their parents, how many of them get mugged and robbed? And they do that because they're little kids and that you can take from them. What, parents, why are you doing foolish things like that, especially if you live in those troubled neighborhoods? You're asking for trouble. You're asking, it's not safe for them to do it. It's not safe for them to carry money to the store and get mugged. Or let's say they get they buy the wrong thing. Or let's say, okay, let's say it was a product, and but you have a favorite brand, and the kid got the brand that you didn't want. And maybe they didn't know. They just, okay, you said eggs, so you got eggs. Oh, well, I like such and such brand better. See, the stupidness like that. And you hear these mothers, or I should say, parents, who they yell at the kid, call them names like stupid, or hit the kids, traumatizing the kid. Parent, you should go get it yourself. Get it yourself so you won't have this type of dumbass problem, in my opinion. I know it sounds very insensitive, but it's just how I feel. I'm tired of hearing these mistakes and then you traumatize the kid. If you're the woman of the house or the man of the house, you should get the food yourself. Don't ask minors or small kids, or especially people who don't know how to cook or understand food, or especially a boy about food products. You get it yourself. You get it yourself. So you don't have this problem. You're going to make something. Make sure you get a list. If you don't have it, you go to the store and get it. So you don't have this stupidness happening. That is just my opinion. It is my opinion. I just get really angry. Really, I mean, I've heard stories. It's like, wow, these poor kids. These poor kids. I don't, yeah, my mother did all the grocery shopping. She went to get, that was her job, and she went out and bought stuff. She would take the whole day getting what she needs. We never had to do that. That was her job. But let's say you have an adult child, 21, 21 years of age and older. And let's say it's a female. Okay, I can understand something like that would be okay, because they understand how you cook products and things like that, and to ask the questions. What brand. So I guess also in all this, if you feel like you're forced to ask your children, young children, to get give them a list and have the name of the product, the brand name, and alternatives. Let's say if they don't have such and such, get this instead of that. But I really feel, and it's usually mothers that do this, does the cooking. Get it, mothers, get it yourself. Aunties, get it yourself. Grandma, get it yourself. Don't have children to do adult things. Don't have little children to go out at night at 10 or 10:30 at night. I've never been out at that age at night. Never in my youth. Never. I just think it's insane. I don't even go out at night now. Especially now, the climate now. People, I go out to walk my dog. I am back in my house um, before noontime. I'm usually back at home at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. I leave the house in the morning to walk my dog, and I come right back. I don't even go out at nighttime. I don't even go out at nighttime. I don't. I don't want to go out at nighttime. It's spooky out there. It's spooky. So just imagine a child. And you have these young people that prey on young people. I don't understand this. It's just I have more questions about this. Okay, so she sends, he or she, whatever, sends the young boy in. And the boy is to get his siblings that are even much younger than him. But again, he goes to the wrong house, is shot, the police come. And my question is, so how did the mother, how did the mother find out that the son got shot? That's my first question. And my other question is, how did his sibling get home that night? Did they stay? Did they stay over the place? Did they call? Yeah, that was nothing. Did the adults? Hopefully, there were adults in that house. Did the adults call the house? The mother. How did those? How did they get home? You know what I'm saying? How did they get home? How come the mother or whoever the uh, parent, why did they wait until 10:30 at night to do something? Why didn't they call up earlier when it was still daylight outside? Hey, I think my children should come home. Uh, you know, wouldn't that make sense? People, wouldn't that make sense? Hey, so and so, or Mrs. So and so, or Mr. So and so, please, could you bring home my children that are at your place? It's getting dark. If you could bring them home to my house, that would have been easier, right? It seems like there's a lack of communication going on. There is a lack of insight going on, in my opinion. Just my opinion. That parent couldn't call the house and say, hey, it's 10:30 or 10 o'clock p.m. Could my kids stay over your place and I'll pick them up at such and such time? Or if you could bring them over to my house, that would make a lot of sense, especially this time and age. Especially. But that never happens. And again, you never hear about how the kids got home. If the kids got home that night. And now what's happening is the race card again. And I think a lot of this is just how does this happen? Are only black people being victims in America? Why is it only you just hear black people being victims with senseless incidences, or you see black people doing foolish things? That's all you see. Blacks doing foolish things and black people who are so-called victims. That's all you think. You think that's all what happens in America, and nobody else is getting hurt or have concerns. And I know this sounds insensitive of me to say this, but I'm wondering, why are those scenarios the only ones it seems? I feel this is part of social engineering. I feel that this is to try to spark a race war. When the George Floyd thing didn't pan out exactly how they wanted it, they keep digging up new people. And this victimhood, I'm sick of it. Because it sounds more and more foolish. So, I mean, it's unfortunate. If it's true what happened, it's unfortunate. And what's the word? It is a tragedy that someone is so fearful. Now, the alleged shooter is an 80-plus-year-old man. I do not know whether this old man lives alone. Does this man live alone? Anyone coming at even my apartment, I live in an apartment. I would not open up anything, even in an apartment, and find out what someone wants at 10:30 at nighttime. Are you crazy? I'd be scared. Yeah, I've been, because someone had rang my bell before, and I was petrified. Because there's no reason for anybody to ring my bell at any time. So, what would make a man So the scenario, it seems like, is just because someone's race. It's 10:30 at night. You're an elderly person, and you don't know who that person is. So what was the conversation? What was the real conversation that happened? What would the young boy say? Ding, dong, ring the bell. And it was through the person got shot through the glass door or something like that. Now I wonder if he opened it up, you know, what, what, what else? Oh God. See my mind. See, I'm very analytical. It just caught on me. When the boy was on his way, didn't they call the person's house? Hey, so and so's on their way. Did that happen? Did that happen? The person said, "Hey, is this Mrs. So and so's house at um, such and such address?" But either way, it lacks insight to put a child and the man don't know them at night. You're going to do business, have a child do business at nighttime in a neighborhood they don't know, a house they don't know. Wow. So the man is the elderly man. Fear. Fear would have someone, fear or someone antisocial, or both. Someone knocking on his door or bell at 10 something at night. Did he allow, did the boy explain who he was? Or, hi, I'm so and so. I'm come to get my brothers. It just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right. The story doesn't add up to me. Did the mother eventually call the person? Hey, did so and so arrive? It's getting late. Did that happen? These are important questions. And the other scenarios that the neighbors, oh, they're all insensitive, right? It's hard to swallow that type of scenario. If someone eventually is the second person, the third person that he rang the bell, if they're going to open the door, you don't. In fact, you don't even have to open it or just say, "Look, I'm going to call the cops." Just call the cops. Hey, there's something happening. Please come to the door. But again, 10 something at night. In a neighborhood that you're not from. And again, the boy is allegedly shot in the face and in the arm. They would see blood gushing out, right? Isn't that what would happen? It's gushing out? Oh, have your hands up in the air and lie on the floor like you're in what the police say. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make you're a wounded child. And the type of pictures that they show. I notice with the news reporters, like when certain crime happened, they you notice the type of photos that they have of the victims and perpetrator. And it seems very deliberate. I just feel I'm being manipulated. I don't like that feeling, that I'm being purposely manipulated to feel a certain way. They're more about feelings rather than facts, data. They're more into emotionalism, and that's what I pick up, whether it's a true story or not, and that I don't like. I don't like it because I feel that if you have the data, you don't need to push emotionalism. Your news outlet, it's about facts. But it seems like the news outlets is more about entertainment and ratings. It's not about educating the public to protect one another. And as we could see with the past 3 years, like the news was not about being um, complete with the news. It just wanted to show you one side of the news. And you weren't allowed to say certain things in the news, or you could even ask questions in writing. Your channel could be banned. You could be censored. It was very one-sided. How could all this happen? These are questions, people. It's an environment is being created that is over the top, sensationalized, and a lot of holes in it, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I believe that a lot of these news reporters are being used as tools to do social engineering, to get the public scared, angry, and to push a narrative that has a lot of holes in it. And the news is, in my opinion, is being designed to make people afraid of one another so that they will want to shoot somebody who they don't know for ringing the doorbell. People are being made to be afraid of one another. They want whites angry and fearful at blacks, and they want blacks angry at whites. But you never hear of anybody from any other group. Was that almost 400 million Americans? And nobody else has a problem. Nobody. Everybody else is happy. Right? This is baloney. And why? And I've asked this question before. And I know, again, it sounds insensitive of me. How come when like the story of the young 15, 16-year-old boy who gets shot because he rang a doorbell late at night, past 10 p.m. at night, and it was the wrong door, and the owner of that, the person living in at that house allegedly shot the boy. And he's recuperating in the hospital, the boy. Um, how come? How come with the thing that happened in Chicago just a couple of days ago? How come when it was how come there were no parents in Chicago when they said over 100 kids were just running, teenagers just running around and committing violence, acts of violence? How come those parents didn't come outside then and ask them, where are my kids? And why are you doing this? Why why did they congregate with the boy that went into the wrong house, large numbers of people protesting that the elderly man should be arrested, but they didn't go out in droves, the parents, at the Chicago location when those kids were out playing the fool. They didn't go march and say, grab their kids so you get your butt home. Why don't these same black families do that? Why don't they? But they're the first to go outside if it's a person, usually a white person, doing some offense allegedly on a black person. They come out in droves and protest for days, but they don't protest when, like the Chicago incident, the pack of kids, teenage kids, jumping on cars, kicking people violently in the head. Why? Or that house, what was that other house? It's so many things happening, so much. I'm losing track. But the Sweet 16, the Sweet 16 gathering at the Mahogany Club or something like that, the word mahogany. And then someone shoots and people died. But you did not see a whole gathering of people marching against the violent offender. They allegedly don't know who pulled the trigger. They don't know. They don't know who pulled the trigger or whatever. No witnesses, right? But no one came out in droves and protest uh, this violence. But they did show some adults who were just like more like gawking at the scene, where they just how they would I don't know how they would dress was questionable. I mean, I thought it was a very warm day, and this is what was in the South, and they were wearing like a blanket in the daytime. Why would they be wearing a blanket in the daytime? I mean, a coat or a jacket, but wearing a blanket. It's like for like urgency. Oh, let me go out there with my blanket. I'm so scared. Let me see what happened. Let me bring my blanket out there. You put a coat on, right? If you're that cold, you put a coat on, but a blanket. And they looked like they were laughing. That was another thing. They were sitting down like it's a lounge, like it's like entertainment. It didn't look like these were adults. Most of them were women, and it just looked like they were gossiping amongst themselves, having a good time. And this was a mass, uh, you know, when weaponry. So I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Why didn't they congregate? Like in masses, like with the boy that was shot, the 16-year-old that I was just talking about. Again, this other thing was a Sweet 16 party. How come they didn't come out? People, this is what you call social engineering. Because it was a white. See, they want to pass. See, they want to use black people as a backdrop a reason why they want to ban certain types of weaponry, and they're going to use the race component to get this bill passed, in my opinion. In my opinion. But somehow it's not enough if it's a black on black crime. Why don't you care about your own? Why do you only care when it's just a black and white? Most people die at the hands of their own people from their own community. Why doesn't that affect, that rationality? Um, why don't they do something about their own neighborhood? Why? Why, people? Why don't you care about what happens in your own neighborhood? Why don't you gather and rally at those drug dens in your neighborhoods? Why? Why aren't you scared when it's a black and white issue? But you get scared when it's a black on black because you are afraid of yourself. If you can't handle your own, why should other people care about you? Why? It's just a rhetorical question. You should care about your own first. Get yourself together first. But you're going to make an issue when it's somebody else. Which leads me to the other thing about victimhood. Victimhood is outdated. It could only work so far. Another news I heard, a particular neighborhoods, there, I think it was Kmart, that something like a Kmart is being, I think two Kmarts are being removed from this particular location. And the black community is calling it racism. Well, someone showed a video of what happened in a predominantly black neighborhood one particular day. I'm not saying that specific one that's closing, but it was a department store, like a Kmart, and it was being looted big time, big time. People, these businesses don't go into business to be looted and to lose money and to have employees unsafe. That is a liability. Any business person would say the same thing. I don't want any more unnecessary liabilities. If something's going to be more of a headache than something beneficial, don't even have it. Or just close it down. It's too much of a headache. So this rally happened, a news conference regarding these stores that are being closed down, and they're calling it racism, and that how they should have they shouldn't be forced to go into another neighborhood and this and that, which I understand their point. That aspect that you should have things in your neighborhood. And I agree with that. You should have your own store in your neighborhood. You should have, your grocery store, clothes store, electronics, household goods, You should have that in a community. but it's your community, and you are responsible for your community, and you should open up your own store. You should run your schools. You should do all these things. Why should somebody who is not from your group be responsible for you to have your own things? Why? Why should they risk their lives to serve you when you don't want to serve yourself? And this victimhood, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, we don't like so and so group because they don't like us, but we want you to do this for us. No. Use this as an opportunity to say, hey, this should have you create something for yourself. But see, you don't even like yourself, and you victimize one another. You don't love each other. People are, are at it's spooky. It is spooky. Boy, I'm just remembering even some of the school systems when they want someone to run the school. But when someone wants to really do something good for the school, they're not liked. And I've unfortunately seen that. You have to take charge of your neighborhood, have your own stores, start a business. But in the black neighborhood, you know what the business is? Church. Church is the black community's biggest business. That's why they don't feel like doing it. They're spending all their money on a damn church that's not serving them. And they haven't grown up and realized this for themselves. I mean, I've gone into sections where they have on the face of one block, all churches. And they suck out the money out of that community. You have poor leaders. You have corrupt leaders. And they want an easy way to get money. Oh, they got it off. And no one complains about it. Because everybody, it seems like in many communities like this, want easy money. If you can start a church, you can start other companies, grocery stores, electronics. We used to have communities. Remember what they call Black Wall Street? We used to have a place called Black Wall Street. It was a thriving community in Oklahoma. Why can't you redevelop something like that? New York is always very controversial for American blacks. Always controversial, but it's not impossible. I think if your real leaders study history of New York, you'll think of creative ways. Say, hey, enough is enough. But I think a lot of these so-called black leaders, see, they use it. The devil comes in all different shades. The devil works in many communities, and the devil works within the black community. And they're using people that look like black people, talk like black people, everything, but they don't represent you, and they have an agenda. And you have many black people who are in fraternities and sororities, and they serve as spies in that community. And they play you with their little pinky. They have you controlled, they have you feared. How come the Nation of Islam, with the incident that happened in Chicago with over 100 teenagers running about playing a fool, how come that organization can't seem to uh, have any real positive influence over the blacks of Chicago? You in that business for almost 90 years? Something like that. And you really haven't made a dent in that community. But somehow they have money to go different places, to have these big mosques, and nothing of real value seem to be developing out of that organization. Why is that, people? Why is that? Why isn't anything of any real viability being produced? You had even Obama that came out of of Chicago. You know, when he moved there when he was an adult, and not even he in his so-called community organizer. What he organized, I don't know, but they're failing. You know, they're not. It's not that they're failing. That's by design. That is what is their design and the outcome that they wanted, which was failure. They make themselves seem like, in my opinion, they make themselves look busy, but they're busy doing nothing. They're creating nothing of value. And the devil, in my opinion, is working through people like them. They'll take your money. They produce fear in you and anger. Because, see, they're setting you up for this new world order they want to promote. They want to promote the new world order. The devil works within all groups, and the devil could be any race. The white man is not the only devil out there. You got black devils, yellow devils, red devils, polka dot devils. They're all over. They work within all groups of people. And you haven't learned that. And you haven't learned with Obama. You had someone working in your community. Then he becomes president. And look what's left in Chicago. It's a cesspool, that place. A cesspool of losers, losers. I don't know. You would think after time that has passed that people would gain more wisdom, especially the past 5 years with the racial component that's happening here in this state. You would think someone matured or the police got their act together, but nothing of any real value has developed with the police police officers. Nothing, and I'm here in New York, and nothing fruitful came out of the past 5 years. Nothing. This is part of social engineering, people, this whole thing. And this country is being set up. This country, in my opinion, is being set up for failure. And you have someone high up who is a master social engineer, and they're working overtime, and they are here to destroy this country. This is a beautiful country. that has ugly things in it. This is the most um, wealthy country. This country has everything that anyone would need. But now it's becoming difficult to navigate in it. Your children in education is being compromised and letting uh, sex books in the amongst minors and elementary school. That's a biggie. See, again, they want you to become unnatural. And I think that's why that push for the alphabet soup community, because they want you to become unnatural in every aspect of your being. And that they're using this alphabet soup as a stepping stone for eventually the transhumanism. They want to be able to upload your brain slash your consciousness into a computer. They want you so removed, disconnected from your body, and confusing you about who you are. Are you a boy or a girl? Well, even the Supreme Court judge, when asked, what is a woman? I don't know. See that? Dumb and Dumber. And they're using black people to say this foolish talk. Foolish, foolish talk. See, that's how I know that it's social engineering, um, because no one could be that dumb. You're being deliberate. You are being deliberate. You are ushering in a desire to remove humanity from you. Your basic foundation is, hey, what are you, a boy or girl? They don't want you to know what you are. They want to confuse you. They can confuse you or what's between your legs. What else are they going to confuse you about? They want you not to eat. They have you eating poo poo to put bugs in your food. This is what they think about you. They're mocking you, humans. They are mocking you. And they want you to just do nothing. But you don't go out in droves about your food, what you eat. And you're getting fatter and fatter. Wow. It's very, very sad. This whole, how come, okay, what about number 45 who was in office? He's a native New Yorker, native born New Yorker. And we have a DA that had him arraigned for 34 counts of something, making something that's not a felony into a felony. But how come the DA did not press charges or arrest a former governor who was responsible for the death of many New Yorkers during this pandemic? Why was he not arrested? Why? He passed some type of thing. It was not the governor. No governor could pass a law. Congress does, but he uh, pushed some agenda. What they call a mandate. A mandate is not a law. And during the mandate, they harassed us. I was harassed when I went on the bus and I didn't want to wear a mask. And I pressed charges on that man. I contacted the people in charge of transportation. We call it the MTA, and nothing really came out of it. They just said, "Oh well, yes, we talked to him." I said, "Well, you said we're going to bring it to court. I want my day in court to press charges against this person. This person um, could have really caused me harm." Nothing happened. Nothing happened to him. So they were allowing all this discord during this past 3 years. They had people beating up people, and many of these people were released. And many people died during this pandemic. And then to also ban certain medications. They prevented you to have alternative medical choices. You didn't have a choice in the matter because they just didn't have it. They said no. When I called up my doctor, I was getting scared. I said, "Doctor," I called my primary care physician one day. It was approaching winter, and I said, "I'm concerned that if I get sick, I don't know what to do. Where do I go?" And they would say that, "Oh well, we don't have any medicine. There's no treatment for that particular pathogen. But if I get seriously sick, to come in and that they were going to use this X, Y, and Z drug. And now that X, Y, and Z drug, uh, according to news reports, cause organ failure." And I asked my doctor about that organ failure. "Oh, I don't know what news you hear about." So why wouldn't you allow alternative? And again, it's always about patient rights. Patient has the right to choose their treatment plan or to go over with their primary care physician. You don't have to accept certain medical treatment. You don't have to. You said, "No, I refuse that treatment. I want such and such." That is your right as a patient. And then people died senselessly. How come our governor was not arrested, who was responsible for many deaths of the elderly in New York City? And he was given an TV award for how he handled this pandemic. People, does that make sense? Does that make sense? But they're going to arrest a person because of a adult entertainer who tried to blackmail him. I thought that was illegal, blackmailing somebody and a former president to do that. It should have been thrown out the case, in my opinion. Again, I'm controversial. I only speak for my opinions. But in my opinion, that's a waste of our tax dollars. So many people in New York City lost their companies. No money. You have all these abandoned businesses. Businesses that were in business since I became a young adult for 40 something years. Gone because of this, how they handled the pandemic and closed down businesses that have been around for a long time, but allowed alcohol to be served. They allowed, we call it booze places. What do you call it? Booze. Liquor store, that's the word, liquor stores. They allow liquor stores to remain open, knowing that people are going to get depressed because they can't go out, but you can go to the liquor store, but you couldn't go to other stores to get provisions for your home. See that? Does that sound logical to you? Is it? Does that sound logical? And our mayor, governor, were responsible for that. They decided what type of business could stay open and what cannot for a fucking cold. That particular pathogen is the common cold. And there's no cure for a common cold. But you're going to tell people that you can't go out, that the kids cannot go to school anymore, even though they were not at risk according to statistics of the CDC. They're the least likely to get that condition. But yes, the elderly, oh yes, people with many comorbidities, yeah, they were dying and being scared. But this governor of ours at that time was allowed to do all these things, and then they pushed him out of office. Once he did what he was instructed to do, I believe he was instructed to do what he did, and then now they wanted to get rid of him all of a sudden. I mean, he was getting accolades before. I remember when the pandemic hit, man, he was the golden boy. And once it was done, then they started vilifying him. And again, they presented a sex scandal. They presented a sex scandal. Basically, it was he said, she said. See that when they want to get rid of a person in politics, they always throw in some female that he did X, Y, and Z. And so they did the same thing to number 45. They did the same thing to number 45. Wasting our tax money. You know how much money this case is going to cost the New Yorkers who's already in poverty? You know how many homeless people are out there? And New York City is pumping in more and more of these illegal slash guest workers. And you just see them outside. Now, some of them hang out right outside the building. This hotel is costing over $500 per room. Wow. Where are they getting this money from? See, it's going to bankrupt New York City. And that's what they're trying to do. So that you have to get a bailout or something like that. Who are they going to get the bailout from? Do you think possibly China? You think maybe China is behind all this? And no, this is not an anti-Chinese rant. But I am against communism. I'm against the Communist Chinese Party. I'm against that. Yes, the CCP, I think they're called. CCP. Communist Chinese Party, yeah, Communist Chinese Party. I'm against that. I'm against anything that goes against our constitutional republic. Our constitutional republic. We don't have what's that word they use? What's that word? It means majority rule. This country is not about majority rule. I don't want a majority rule because that's what hurt many of the people that lived here in the past. The majority said, hey, we want to oppress these minorities. I don't want that. But a constitutional republic protects everybody. It protects everybody. So it's confusing to me. They're going to spend all this money to put a former president on trial for allegedly um, someone wanting, what do you call it, extortion. He was being extorted for money. Sometimes it's cheaper just to pay off a criminal-minded person than to go through trial. Sometimes the headache, because you have people who want to screw people's lives over. And again, it's not about a personality contest. Whether you like number 45 or not, no one should be extorted for their money or blackmailed. No one. And the DA should have dropped the case. They should have targeted our former governor for the death slash murder, in my opinion, murder and careless recklessness of the lives of many of our elderly population. And to deny people a choice of medication, how they want to be treated medically, what type of to ban it. It was banned, the treatment. This particular medication was banned in New York City. My doctor told me that in all of New York, that medicine is unavailable and at all the hospitals. They're not allowed to give it. And there's no treatment for that particular pandemic, according to my medical physician. But if you get seriously ill, you have to come in the hospital. You have to be hospitalized, and they'll give you this particular drug, and it turns out that drug causes um, organ failure. That should be prosecuted for attempt of murder, in my opinion. In my opinion. In my opinion. And nothing's being done about it. Nothing. That is a crime. That is a crime. It seems like we're losing our minds, and the true colors of who's in charge over America. Someone hates us. And I believe that some of the things is behind communist China. And they may be working alongside other groups with similar agenda. And again, I repeat, this is not against Chinese people, but that you have governments, and in this case, a communist government that wants to dominate the commerce over America. They want you totally dependent on their products that they make. They don't want America to produce its own goods. And places like New York City, when you look at the products, when you buy a product in a store, a department store, like electronics, um, gadgets and things like that. When you look at behind, you look at the boxing, where it's made, it's usually made in China. Our dishes are made in China. A lot of the products, in fact, most of the products that I have in my place, when I examined it, because I started to get concerned, and I said, wait a minute, this is made in, I thought it was made in the US. I said, oh, sure. Then I started looking more and more things. I took it for granted. I thought everything was made in America. I thought everything's America. My household products. And it's not. It's made in China. Those very large outlets, those big ass stores, their products come from China. And these products, don't they advertise on television? Who's in charge of television? And what type of things, these commercials show? The products in your neighborhood, right? The department stores or, things that you could buy even over the internet. So they work hand in hand. You got the television that uh, sells, that have commercials so that you buy the products in these stores. And those products in those stores come from China. And it'll explain also that these news outlets uh, forbade you to question the narrative regarding the past 3 years in America. If you said certain words, they can pull your channel, even try to threaten some people and took their money without permission. Did you hear about that? You heard about that? Um, they said, oh, you said something. Well, we're going to punish you. You're not supposed to say certain things. We're going to charge you money. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe. They make up the rules as they go along. They're making it up. They're arrogant people. They make up the rules as they go along to punish you, going against our constitutional republic. And that's not considered punishable, to prosecute. Why aren't our DA want to prosecute that? Their job is to keep the law of the land, to keep our constitutional republic, but they're doing everything. Oh, they call the word democracy. I don't want a democracy. We don't have a democracy. We have a constitutional republic. And they're brainwashing you to make people think that it is a democracy. Democracy means majority rule. I do not want majority rule. I do not want that. So why they're pushing it? Because they want to brainwash you and make most people believe a certain thing or want a certain thing. I don't want it. I see through a lot of your tricks and everything, and you're actually a liability. The past 3 years was a liability to the nation. It's harming our youth and using this uh, setting up a home for that a kid could run away from home, a minor could run away their home and get their genitals removed. You can't even by law give a child an aspirin. So how could you do major surgery on a child who doesn't know their ass from their elbow? Oh, I feel like I feel like a such and such now. Uh, I want to, what if they think they're a bunny rabbit? You're going to put these long ears on them? What if they think they're a giraffe? You're going to put a long neck on? Come on, people. Come on, this is really, really, insanity. The devil is insane. The devil's insane. People, please wake up. Please, please, please wake up. I live in New York City, and um, I think it was like 2 days ago, I started really noticing. Yeah, I went to this park, and I said, "This is really a pretty park." I said, "I don't know where else I could have what I have now." I, I shared with you guys many times that I was supposed to move to overseas last October, and things fell through. And I said, boy, what a waste. I see that there are a lot of good things here, but it's corrupt. And people say, you can create your own reality. I want to believe that. I want to create a beautiful reality for me of wellness. Of wellness, people. Don't you want wellness in your life? Looking at some of this media outlets is insanity. So that's why I really want to try to go out more and get fresh air, uh, and create my own religion, so to speak. I should say spirituality, not religion, but so just something that I can do for myself to make me feel good, to breathe in fresh air, to see the trees and everything. I like beauty. I love natural beauty. And this is all for you to enjoy too. You have a right to breathe in clean air, to have excellent medical care, all these beautiful things, to have food that's healthful. You have a right to eat real food. Did you know that they even make an artificial rice? It's made out of plastic. Plastic. This is insanity. See, they're trying to set you up to become more and more synthetic. Synthetic. No, I like the real thing. I want to eat real food. That is your right. To eat clean, healthy food, to drink fresh, toxic-free water. That is your right. And it's being taken away from us. And it seems like we don't care. And this is confusing to me. Absolutely confusing. And we having more and more people from my own community acting crazy, and then wonder why white people are afraid of us. I see things in the media, and I'm afraid to be with my own sometime, because the chances are that something's going to happen. chances are you open up a big store in certain neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, you are going to have looting. And the looting is based on, what is it? When you see what they're looting, it's not like food. It's um, TV sets, uh, things that aren't really for living. I mean, for existence. It's about selfishness. It is selfishness that is happening in the community I live in, a member of the black community. Selfishness. Somehow we're able to have money for these damn hair weaves. Back in the day, yeah, about over 30 years ago, I had gotten, a friend of mine told me about this process called hair weaves. And back in the day, each row was $100. That was over 30 something years ago. So I could just imagine how much now it must cost. But somehow these individuals have money for hair weave, have money for nails done, these dragon nails, have money for these fake eyelashes, have money for fake boom booms and breasts. But then they're gonna, when there's a problem like a flood or something, they go and steal a TV set. Or you have someone that said that they're hungry. I can't stand seeing fat people who say that they're hungry. I get really angry. And what's weird about it when I say that, I was a nutrition major in college. I graduated with a Master's of Science in Nutrition. Yes, I did. Yeah, I got my master's degree. It didn't really serve me, but I went through the school here in New York City and graduated. Um, but when I see somebody who claims to be hungry and what they be eating, like I used to live in Hawaii, and I was in a severe economic shortage. I didn't make enough. I mean, I felt I was just existing, and the stress was getting into me. Honey, I was not. I lost so much weight. I lost so much weight, people, because I just didn't. Stress would do that, and I just didn't have a significant amount of money to buy a little more. In Hawaii, one lemon cost 75 cents. And that was over 20 years ago this happened to me. I was always health conscious. And I don't believe in buying really, if it's food, because you live on food, you don't live off of candy, okay? I would go buy produce. And it just really wasn't enough money. But I did eat every day, but it's just not enough. And I lost weight, a lot of weight. I was, my BMI, body mass index, might have been a little under 18, which is, 18 is thin, but it could have been a little under 18, maybe 17.5. That is underweight. And I'm 5'7". And when I see these fat cows talking about that they're hungry, I'm just thinking that they're selfish. They're not hungry. When you morbidly, I mean, I know technically as a nutrition major that someone could be not have the correct nutrients in their body. Oh, they have the calories, all right, but they don't have these correct nutrient. They could be nutrient deficient, but they're not caloric deficient. Okay, so I mean, I know that technically, but still, I can't take them seriously. I know. No, no, no. I don't take what they say. How could anybody take them seriously? Our community is being mocked, and you're making all of us look bad. Bad. And a lot of our leaders are behind this, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is all my opinion. We're a laughing stock in Africa, I feel. No one wants to be because we act foolish. It's foolery. We're not helping ourselves anymore. We're not helping our communities. We used to have Black Wall Street. We were making it. We accomplished a lot of things in this country. This country produced diamonds, black diamonds, so to speak. We had excellence. We had personal excellence. We didn't have fancy schools, but our kids knew the basics. They were intelligent. We made our own clothes. We made our own, equipment. We were insulated and we were protected in that way. Our money went to our community. Now, our money goes outside the community. It doesn't serve you. We are being used like a carcass, an energy source for every race in this country but ourselves. That was social engineered. Social engineered started in the 1950s with the integration movement. That integration movement I see now was designed to usher in us to live in large cities where we are living inside what they call the inner city. We live inside the main structure of a city, but we don't really partake in the wealth of the city. That was by design, so that they can fully control us. And now they're trying to get rid of us. Now they're trying to get rid of us. I live in New York City, born and raised here, and a veteran of New York. And I see work sites that have immigrants working, like the construction sites, with them working in there, and no American citizens, no black people. How do they bypass us and get in these construction sites? They pay a lot of money, people. And there's a lot of construction in New York City. Why don't they hire or demand that New York, to give jobs to New Yorkers? You have people that live in other states and they come into New York City. They come into New York City. They don't live here, but they get good jobs here and then race back home out of state. No. Manhattan, place like Manhattan, you live in Manhattan, you have first priority on the jobs here in Manhattan. or let's just say you live in New York City. The jobs of New York City go to New York City residences only. We've been pushed out. We've been being pushed out of the jobs. How does that? How that's not considered to not have New Yorkers get jobs here in New York? Shouldn't that be um, prosecuted? To deny legal residences of New York City, jobs in New York City, that is questionable. How they allow that, but no one's being arrested for doing that. No one's being arrested for having illegals here. It is illegal to vote in our elections if you're not a U.S. citizen, and to give a foreigner who's not a U.S. citizen the ability to vote is a serious crime. That's why they're pushing in these illegal, they're busing in illegals or refugees in these large cities so they could take over because they know basically how they would vote. It's all social engineering. And no, this is not an anti-immigrate immigration rant. No, it's not. You come in the legal way, and you have money. Just like if I want to go away, if I wanted to move to somebody's country, I have to um, show them my bank account. I have to show them what job I have to support myself. I have to have health insurance, travel insurance, a bank account. In some places, not only a bank account in their country, but it has to be a certain amount in it as a security that you could take care of yourself here. That's what it takes to move into these other countries. But you're not doing it in U.S. See, again, is to make us become bankrupt. They want us to become bankrupt. And who's going to have to bail us out? But Communist Chinese Party to bail us out. It is a setup. And he's using Black America to have us fall. And some Black people might be laughing and say they were good for white America. But I have to tell you to hold on, hold off the laughter, because this is what's going to happen. They're going to get you next. They're going to get you next. They're going to laugh at you for believing them, and then they're going to come and get you and get rid of you. That is what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do to you. You need to wake up. You need to wake up, Black America, and all of America. All of us are in jeopardy. All of us. All of us are in jeopardy. Black, white, yellow, red, male, female. All of us are in jeopardy and are being fooled and tricked by the system. It is a demonic, evil system that has attached itself and becoming more bold as the years go on. They are like in a free fall. They're doing anything and every tactic to destroy us. And not only are they just going to do America, but the whole planet. They want to destroy the whole planet. Yeah, they're coming after our food, our food source, and chemically altering it. And I heard also with the food that they're allegedly putting in the, I'm going to use the word jab. When they jab in the arm, they're going to jab it in the food so that when you ingest your food, you're going to ingest the jab, and it's going to be used to destroy your body. They want to get rid of as many people as possible. I've always been conscious about the food I ate. Yeah, yeah, I pray over my food too. I say, I, I, I can only do so much for myself, but I buy my produce. I cook my own food mostly, but I do like eating out too. But when I eat, I pray over my food. When I said, you know something, I do my best, and I know I'm not perfect, and I know the food isn't perfect, but where I fail, Creator, please kick in and heal my food of anything that is deadly in it. Yeah, I pray over my food. I pray over my drink. I give thanks over it because I feel metaphysically that it could put good qualities in the food. And if you feel you're eating something that's going to be good for your body, maybe that it metaphysically can change the properties of the food so that it is a medicine onto your body. That's what I feel. I mean, it won't hurt. Do what you can do. Do what you can do over your life. Empower your life where you can. And and use discernment. If like what I mentioned in the very beginning of this live stream about the YouTuber that I used to listen to, but I've been catching inconsistencies in her, uh, the information she shares, and whether she's really about the alphabet soup community. I don't know anyone who is a heterosexual who's going to promote something like women and women. It didn't make any sense to me, and I'm wondering. Then I went on their Zoom conference, and something just told me with some of the women that this might be an alphabet soup in the making. And again, people have the choice who to love, and that's your choice. What you do with your body, who you do it with in the privacy of your own home with a consenting adult is your own business. And I'm not about someone else's business. But it is my business when someone tries to do something upon me by trickery, calling themselves something that they are not, and pushing women out of women's sports. So these authentic women don't get the scholarships that they're begging for, and some dude takes it instead. He could just slap on a skirt. Oh, I'm a such and such. I have a real problem with that. I have a problem with liars. I have a problem with liars. And when I send someone stories not sitting right with me and inconsistencies, it's like a red flag. It's a red flag to me. I start to feel uncomfortable and I get anxiety. And no one is perfect. I said, Spirit Journey, I don't want to feel so paranoid or so, so strict. But it grows, people. That's what I'm getting at. With all what I'm talking about, I know I'm talking about a lot of things, but that's what I'm getting at. That it grows and grows and grows. It doesn't get smaller, it gets bigger, the lives. And then the next thing you know, you got consumed by them and you can't get out. You can't get out. I don't want to be one of those people that can't get out. Yeah, I mean, I really, sometimes I really enjoy watching that YouTuber, but it's getting too many holes. And see, what you look at people and what you listen to starts to affect you. It may not affect you over 1 or 2 days, but in time, it could start to affect you and reprogram you in ways you didn't want. You may not have wanted that. But you say, oh, well, I know I don't really take it serious, but it can start to affect you. Your thinking. Some things you don't want to play with, people. Some things you just don't want to play with. It is like fire. I should say a poison. And some things you shouldn't even touch. And that's what I feel that, some things don't even touch. Because, God, you know how many people do drugs? Oh, well, I just wanted to take a sniff or inhale, whatever. And they get hooked. And they destroy their lives and the lives around them. Some things you shouldn't even touch or look at because its qualities are seductive and on the surface look innocent. Or it looks like, oh, they're helping. That's another thing. They may come across initially that they're concerned for you, or they're advocate for you, but they really aren't, and they have an agenda, and eventually it's too late. Yeah, I overthink sometimes. But I think this happens with me. See, when you get burned or you get violated as a youth, your antenna comes up. Your antenna comes up, especially if you have been violated in certain ways or deceived in certain ways. And I was definitely deceived by certain alphabet soup members. I was very naive. I was trusting and had no idea what was going on until that person sprang upon me. Honey, I got out of there so fast when the devil revealed its ugly head upon me. Yeah, people like that. They look for unawares people, and they work in the church too. Oh yes, that this person was in the church. They knew they set me up all along. Yes, they did. And the person was married. Yep, had trust of the pastor and the pastor's wife. Yeah, they had there's a network going with people like them. They play both. Some of them play both sides. They could be married to the opposite sex, but they're really about the same. And they try to recruit people and destroy other people's lives. I got out of there fast. See, again, it's, if someone wants to live a certain lifestyle, that is their business, but not over here. Especially you're married and you're going to try to do that. No matter what your orientation is, you married to a person, that's your person. And that doesn't give you excuse to go and double dip. It doesn't. Some people think because they're of a person, a particular persuasion, that they could have multiple partners. I just think it's filthy, in my opinion. But again, to each his own. To each his own. You have a right to your lifestyle, but not everybody wants what you eat. No, 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 no. I'm very old-fashioned in many ways. I'm far from perfect, but I don't want to play with fire. Uh-uh. I don't want to play with that fire. And it's not just a lifestyle, in my opinion. It is a social engineering because it's a process that they want to go through. They're going through different steps because they want to do the transhumanism. They want to eventually take your brain or take your consciousness and put it in a computer, and you become that slave, that continual, perpetual slave, and you don't have any opportunity to get out. And I think that's what Hollywood is all about. A programming. They call it predictive programming to really steer you to become familiar and to accept certain lifestyles or trends that are ahead. So by doing so, there's less resistance because, and you just become like a deer on the road, and the headlights are on you, blinding you, and you just can't seem to get out the way. You're just mesmerized. That's what, in my opinion, is being set up for. Why can't we just smell the roses? Why can't we smell real roses? Why can't we just live in harmony with the current system? I mean, the system that was before this perverted one. I don't want a perverted system. I want purity in my life. I want to live a beautiful life. Yeah, I don't like what I see what's happening. Stop being deceived, people. See, I mean, I think some of you don't want to see. Just open up your eyes and ask yourself, is this normal? Is this normal? Is it normal what's happening in the schools with your children? Is it natural? Is it is it trustworthy? Ask yourself basic questions. Ask yourself the videos that you watch on your social media. Is what they're saying, does this fit? Are they consistent? I mean, yes, people could change their mind, sure. But really, are they contradicting themselves? I mean, majorly. They're professing this, but they're living this particular other lifestyle. Ask yourself, should you be watching this? Is this a setup? Are you being lulled into a particular lifestyle? I feel that after that lady announced a particular behavior was acceptable, but in a prior video, she would say that a particular this other particular lifestyle with the men is bad. So they played off like they are heterosexual, but maybe what they really are, because you don't see any men on the channel. You don't see her in a relationship with a man, but she has children, and she's always talking about her man, this and that. But you don't see it. You don't see. Okay, you're about what do you call it? A survivorist. What do you call it? I think they call it survivor. People or preppers. That's the word, preppers. But you never see anything that she's prepping. You never see it. Oh, they say, get out of America, get out of bad America. But they never show themselves interacting with the people from these other countries. Why are they hopping around so many damn countries? And you got little kids and large pets. How do you do that? How could you do that? How could you afford that? It's expensive to move people. There's something that's not being said. Are they being sponsored by some of the alphabet soup community? One thing I learned about the alphabet soup community, they are more, how do you say, they network. And even if you're a black person, you're protected when you accept the alphabet soup community. They hire one another. That's what I noticed. They hire one another and they finance one another. You get bank loans. I used to work at this place. He got a bank loan to start his own business, to buy the equipment, everything. And I know it had to be a lot of money. To pay the rent, he had to have a lot of money. I mean, he had to be given a lot of money. And he was not even from this country either. Because they network and they do sexual favors for one another. That's what they're all about. It is something that they, like, many of them, I should say, how many of them seem to act based on certain evidence that what they do is all about who they can conquer in the bedroom, and you are rewarded based on what you do with them in the bedroom. So it's not like something like, if it's something so organic that they were born that way, then why do you have to recruit? You are who you are. So why do you have to recruit? And why are you after our little kids? I've been going to the park and you see all these condoms thrown all over the park. What kind of crap is that? Oh, I know what I wanted to say about that with the condoms, the used condoms thrown all over the park, even in the winter. You see them. Did you know, people? I mean, it should scare you. I'm going to say this. For those people who do something that requires a condom and then you throw it out on the ground. Did you know that someone could take that condom and get a DNA sample from it and possibly maybe insert it in themselves and get a paternity test, get the DNA thing, and then track down the father of that DNA and say, you have to pay child support. I mean, there's some individuals who are so scrupulous, who'll do anything for money and tell them, you got to pay me child support. And then when they go into court, and they're ordered to do a DNA, and you do it because you're just humoring them because you never was engaged in this activity with this person. Where did it get it? Hello, people. Hello, people. Am I not speaking the truth? Am I not speaking the truth? That someone could take your DNA sample in that condom, insert it in themselves, or even blackmail you and say that you raped them. And then they do a DNA swab of you, collect the DNA sample, and you get arrested. People, am I speaking truth? Am I? Is that a possible, could that possibly happen? You don't think that someone could do something or collect the DNA and make a clone out of it? I mean, that's DNA. That's prime DNA. And they could maybe make a clone out of you. People, please use common sense and wisdom with regard to your DNA. When you throw that condom on the ground, people, it's fucking nasty, in my opinion, to do that. You could at least throw it in the garbage can. At least. Or dig a hole in the ground and bury it. But you just leave it out. It shows that you don't care about your genetics. Your genetics is special. And your genetics is sacred. And you can't seem to control your bodies. And that's why you're out there doing that in the park. See, there's something wrong about this mentality. Why can't you just go in your house and do it? Why? Because you know you're not doing things right. You know it's not right. And that's why you're in some park. Doing favors so that you can get a job, benefits at any cost. And you're jeopardizing your health. Remember HIV, people, HIV is still around. You're reckless with your body. You're reckless. And you're immature. It shows your immaturity. And eventually it's going to catch up to you. And it's really going to hit you hard. Stop this foolish behavior. Like that, when you're just out like a rabbit, just going out there, not thinking. I mean, you love who you love, but man, what you're doing is reckless, reckless living. That's what I'm talking about, reckless living. You can love who you want to love, but when you're reckless like that, and knowing that someone could steal your DNA, could blackmail you, uh, using your DNA against you. They could put your DNA at a crime scene and say you murdered so and so. Hello, people. Am I not speaking the truth? Am I? People, if you know anybody who's living like that, whether straight or gay, who's throwing condoms in a park where people could just pick up, steal the DNA, impregnate themselves, or make a clone. Who knows what they can do with it? Or blackmail you, say you committed a crime at a murder or something. They got your DNA. What are you gonna say? Someone could set you up. Say, yeah, so yeah, let's get on in the park. And then they use your DNA and say, hey, I don't like my former boyfriend. I'm gonna get rid of him and have so and so's DNA at the scene. Hello, people. Hello. Anybody there? Am I not speaking the truth? Yeah, you guys are being used. You're being used and exploited at times. And now you can't stop. You can't. They're like crazed in the head. They're crazed. It's like a demon controlling your desires. You're out of control. You are out of control. And they're going to get rid of you too. Don't think that, you're the flavor of the month permanently. Once they get what they need of you, they're going to get rid of you too. They're going to get rid of everybody. Use your common sense, use wisdom, and learn to say no. That's not good for you. That you don't want that. You don't need that. So I think I said everything. Well, I know what I said was very controversial, as I said that this would be. I say this in love. I said what I said in love because I care about what happens to all of us. We're all in trouble. But make a choice. Make the right choice. Come into your spirituality, awakeness, and say, I want to live a goodly life, a godly life. I want to stop this nonsense. I want to live at peace. Doesn't that sound good? To be able to say that, I want to live in peace, people. I want to live in harmony with nature. I don't want to live a plastic life. Plastic. Just say no, people. Say no. It's hard. It's very hard. Yeah, I mentioned a lot of different politics. I mentioned about the lady in Chicago who was in an argument, and the crazy ass woman, and she just climbs out the car and just starts laughing. And then the 16-year-old boy that rang on the wrong bell to retrieve his siblings at 10 something at night rather than calling up, hey, having that adult bring those kids home. Why would you send a minor, a boy, a child himself, to get their siblings out of some house you'd never been to? It's very irresponsible as a parent. Yeah, I talked about that, and I talked about that YouTuber that's really seems to be revealing a lot about themselves. That they wanted you to think one thing, but hey, maybe it's something else, and it's a possibly a cover for the alphabet soup agenda. Again, your lifestyle of who you love is your business. But let's just be honest about what your business is. If you're going to share your business, be honest about what your intention, what your organization is about, or what your channel is about. If it's about promoting a certain lifestyle, then say so, and stop wasting other people's time. I don't like people wasting my time. I don't like people lying to me. I don't like it. I don't do well with it. I don't do well with that. And the older I get, the less tolerance I have. Stop wasting people's time. Okay? Yeah. So that was just a recap of what I talked about. You want to hear about those other subjects and you're just coming on now? Yeah, you could just go in the beginning of the video. And with me, with my videos, as I go on, I might start off a little clumsy, whatever, how I'm explaining myself, and then I get on the roll. Then I really get in the flow of things. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Even with me listening to what I'm saying, it's a wake-up call for me even. So, sometimes I just go with the flow and just have the spirit run the conversation, of what's in my heart, what's my concern, and sometimes insights that don't even realize until it's just coming out of my mouth. Insights. Yeah. You make the choice that's best for you. I can't make the choice. Everybody has their own lifestyle or their spiritual journey. It's really up to you what you want. I'm just saying, hey, this certain things are not for me. Some things I just don't want to look at or touch because it's downhill. It's such a potential of getting screwed over. So yes, I enjoyed doing this live stream, and again, my intention was to be informative and not to be uh, to offend others, but to awaken others because they may not see certain things. And again, each one teach one. Maybe you guys can teach me. I don't know everything. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe my perception is wrong. So it's okay to share constructively what what you think about what I shared, and that's okay. I have nothing wrong. I don't think anything wrong with someone sharing their opinion that is constructive to what I discussed about. So I thank you all. I thank you for listening. And yeah, thank you for listening. And be safe, people. I wish you all a safe evening. I see it's almost, it's about 2 o'clock now. Wow. Um, I wish you a safe night, that you have sweet dreams, and you have a productive day when you get up. Peace, love, and joy, and harmony, and wellness to the listener of this live stream. Again, thank you for listening. And if you like this content and you wish to support my channel, you can do so through my PayPal Me account. You'll find the link on my channel called Spirit Journey. On the top right of the banner, you will see the PayPal Me link. Just click on the link, follow the prompt, and any amount would be greatly appreciated. And I thank you in advance for doing so. Thank you, and blessings be multiplied onto you for doing so. Take care and enjoy your day. Bye bye.